Starters of the Navigators Iloilo. Starting off with their team captain, number 4, J.M. Cordez. At number 2, Daniel De Pedro. Jersey number 6, J.M. Apolinario. At number 13, Naz Guasa. Number 14, Rash Nursidik. At number 21, Jay Desquitado. Starting libero is number 1, Rick Adaw. Head coach is Mr. Kenneth Panes. Introducing the starters of VNS Volleyball Club. Calling on their team captain, number 18, Ron Medalla. At number 1, Jake Buslig. Jersey number 4, Russell Fronda. At number 5, Ivo Rignon. Jersey number 8, Jeremy Pedrosa. At number 12, Jan Mangulabnan. Libero is John Joshua Cruz. Head coach, Mr. Ralph Ocampo. This game is under.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups para sa The Navigators Iloilo. You have Apolinario, Guaza, Cordez, De Pedro, Nursidik, Desquitado, and Adao for Iloilo. Meanwhile, for their opponents, the VNS Griffins, you have Pedrosa, Rignon, Medalla, Mangulabnan, Fronda, Buslig, and Owa Cruz as their libero. Once again, thank you for joining us on One Sports. This is the Spikers Turf 2023 Open Conference. And as mentioned by Ivy a while ago, no, game day number 7 na tayo for this conference. These two teams have played two games each. For the Navigators Iloilo, they've won both of their contests so far. Meanwhile, para naman sa VNS, 1-1. So relatively good start pa rin, no? Coming from their stint in the semifinals. And once again, we are live on One Sports Plus, also on Smart Livestream, and on the Signal Play app. And those who are joining us live in the venue here at the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center, thank you for spending your Sunday with us. But Ivy, let's talk more about these two teams. No, itong Iloilo, probably a lot of questions for people. Saan sila nanggaling? But relatively, they've had that chemistry because they play all around different tournaments.
Right.
No? So may pinagsamahan na tong kupunan na to.
Yeah. So they've been they played several, not just tournaments here in Manila, of course, but back there.
Yeah.
So if you can see that could probably be one of the advantages that they have over other teams here in the tournament. They probably have been together longer,
Yeah.
than most teams.
That's what they don't see, no? Kasi parang
Right.
dahil bagong team, baka mamaya bago rin sila magkakasama. But that's not the case for the Navigators Iloilo. Although, their ace player, I'd say si Jay Desquitado, diba? Galing yan sa Santa Rosa
Right.
City Lions. Played last conference for that team along with their libero na si Espanso. So we begin things off with VNS serving. That's Mangulabnan, their setter. Apolinario is a man to watch, as we mentioned. And first point goes to the Navigators Iloilo.
So what's exciting about this match, if we look at statistics, both of these teams are actually the number 1 and number 2 digging team. So
Right.
I am expecting na matagal mamamatay ang bola sa mga rallies.
I was thinking the same thing kasi nakita ko sa stat sheet after 2 games, best in digging. So you're right, we'll see a lot of saves. So far, wala pang nasa-save itong VNS. That's 2 quick points for Iloilo. And that was a conversion once again from Apolinario. And Desquitado will be the one to serve. A lot of news also about this guy, which we won't preempt dahil may report dyan mamaya si Dorin. De Pedro will attack. That's popped up by VNS. Medalla with a push. It's kept alive. Cruz will transfer it to Pedrosa. And
There was a touch.
Yep. VNS gets their first point of the match, courtesy of that attack mula kay Noy Pedrosa. Ron Medalla, of course, a decorated player out of the Ateneo Blue Eagles volleyball program. And that's a point for the Navigators.
Now take a look at that angle.
And you saved that perfectly to Ivy.
Of course.
You saved our equipment. Kundi, hindi tayo maririnig nito pag di mo na-save yun.
Pinagpa-practicean ko na rin kasi ito eh. Yun yung parang isang basic pag nasa spiker's turf ka eh.
Buslig joins the scoring column for VNS. Take a look at this one. The approach, and then he scores.
Good cross-court hit.
2 serving 3 right now in the early goings of this match. Good serve. And that turns into an error. So an ace para kay number 5 of VNS. That's Evo Riñon. Game is tied at 3 apiece. Better first ball. And turned into a point by the Navigators.
Good adjustment here on the side of the Navigators.
That was Rash Nursidik using his height to get that point. Good serve there para kay De Pedro. Here comes Buslig again. Saved by Adao. From the pipe. Oh, rejected by Fronda.
Excellent blocking. It's a pipe attack there. Very well read by VNS.
Pedrosa with a serve. That's too long. And the Navigators regained advantage. 5-4 in set number 1. As Jerome Cortez heads on deck to serve, the team captain 1-2 play for Mangulabdan works. We all know that Jan Mangulabdan comes from a volleyball family, so he knows a thing or two about
That's right.
setting.
And also, family of setters, right?
Oh, another good serve. VNS has been racking up the aces early on in set number 1 as they take the lead for the first time. That was Jake Buslig, who only scored a point, by the way, in their last game against Vanguard, pero kakailan na rin siya dito. Saved by VNS, returned by Cruz. They open up to Disquitado.
Oh, but there's a net violation error to be called up against Disquitado.
So that's a 2-point lead now for VNS. Blockers were a bit late, but as you mentioned, unfortunately, tumama lang sa net ito si Jay Disquitado. And another point for VNS.
So a string of errors being committed here by the Navigators.
Oh, Buslig has been serving well. Good for a 3-point lead para sa Griffins. Timeout on the floor. Technical. Babalik tayo dito sa One Sports.
Dip and Ivy, alam nyo ba, in his very first game here in this conference, Jade Disquitado told me that his ultimate goal is to play for the national team. At mukhang narinig ng universe itong si Jade because just 5 days after, he received an invitation to be a part of the national team for the SEA Games. Sabi nga ni Jade, di niya daw ina-expect na may invite siya, but he was so happy, so excited for finally making that dream happen that he replied with a yes first bago niya tawagan ang parents niya who were crying over the phone when they heard the news. And now that he checked that goal off, sabi ni Jade that his next goal is for Iloilo to get the championship here in their debut conference. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Doreen, for that report. It's like the universe listens while Doreen was reporting.
Right.
Disquitado had that great kill, but really crazy story there, Ivy, no? Kumbaga, that kid has great confidence, and for him to get an invite to national team speaks a lot about what he can do.
Right, right. And I'm sure, you know, we've all been witness to the kind of talent that he has, and
Yeah.
there's really more room to grow, you know. But for him, I think it's nowhere but up, eh.
Yeah, that's right. Literally and figuratively. Dahil paangat ng paangat yung talent
Right.
nitong si Jade Disquitado.
And I think one good thing about it also is because he has his goal, eh. So that's why he's, you know, he's really determined to work hard for it.
Right. This time his attack is out. So that's going to be a 4-point lead now for the VNS Griffins. We're going to be watching him and the rest of our national team members as they prepare for the upcoming tournaments. Ooh! What a kill! A quick attack from Apolinario to Guaza.
Perfect setup. The blockers for VNS was just too late. You know, they saw him coming in, but that attack was just too fast.
Mangulabnan, back sets to Pedrosa. They go now to Medalla. Oh, that's a point off the block for Medalla.
Good run so far here for VNS.
Oh, they're maintaining this 4-point lead against the Navigators Iloilo as Mangulabnan continues to serve. Apolinario, back sets to Disquitado. There was a check there. Pedrosa goes up. And that's a point.
VNS has been capitalizing a lot on the blockers of the Navigators.
And that prompts the Navigators to call for time as we listen in.
Tinitingnan kayo ng spikers, oh. Ayun yan, nakatinitin, tapos papatamain na sa'yo kanina, nakita nyo. Ganun ginawa nung una. Nung pangalawa, ganun ginawa. Check ball outside. Okay, timing. Relax na muna. Okay, tingnan nyo spiker. Tingnan nyo spiker, ha? Tapos, pag ganyan na yung kamay, pag ganyan, pasok kamay. Okay? Ha? Okay? Walang problema sa offense natin. Walang problema sa offense natin. Andyan, no? Tingnan mo, super effective tayo sa offense. Bawi tayo sa defense. Okay, wala tayong defense, oh. Okay, trabaho pa, trabaho pa.
Kailangan natin muna pasa para makapalo lahat.
Uy, uy, galaw, galaw, trabaho.
Tara.
We heard that timeout from the Navigators Iloilo. This was the attack mula kay Noy Pedrosa, which Iloilo was not able to save, and now VNS has built their biggest lead of the game so far at 5 points after trailing to begin this set. Disquitado is the man to attack, and why not, as he delivers a point for the Navigators.
The Navigators are really aiming for very sharp cross-court hits. They're down by 4 right now. And basically, you know, the difference in the score where the VNS was leading, right, is mostly because of the errors that
Right.
Iloilo has committed.
Tama, from the service.
Right. And they also have 4 attack errors already.
Guaza is all business at the middle for the Navigators. It's back-to-back points for Iloilo. Look at this one. As Disquitado serves 9-12. At the best first ball, and again, Guaza.
Well, you can't have that kind of reception. Bawal ang regalo pag nasa harap. Itong si Guaza.
3 straight points now for Iloilo. They've cut the lead down to 2 points. With First ball by Cruz. And then the attack from Pedrosa.
That was perfectly executed here on the side of VNS. Good first ball, perfect setup as well. Only one blocker going up against Pedrosa.
Medalla serves for VNS. Ooh, denied by the blockers of the blue shirts. Their turn to attack right now. Buslig will score. And the Navigators, they've been having trouble getting to that cross-court attacks of VNS. And hindi pa nagtatranslate, no, Ivy, yung statistics na best
Right.
diggers tong dalawang koponan na to. Not a lot of saves so far. But what we're seeing is a lot of service aces from VNS.
Actually, VNS has been very aggressive at the service line. I think they're trying to capitalize on yung percentage ng poor reception ng first ball. Kasi at least that gives them lesser opportunity to execute a good play. But not that time around. And yung nakita natin talaga result ng magandang first ball eh.
You know, Guaza is not messing around. And he's been doing a lot of damage from that spot.
And I think it really helps, because he has the hang time. If you looked at the last sequence, pababa na yung blocker siya, nandun pa sa taas eh.
Yeah. And that's going to be a point for the Navigators. And it all started with a good serve of Nastin Guaza.
He's been performing well at the front line. So far, 83% success rate in his attack. He's also performing well at the service line. So
He's the one helping his team stay in this game.
And he has been doing very well defending the net as well.
And this will lead to a timeout for Coach Ralph Ocampo as their lead is down to 2 points.
Ilan yung binibigay nating over-receive? 3 point eh. Tayo naghihirap tayong pumuntos tapos bibigyan natin ng 3 points. Sayang yung pumuntos natin.
More time sa
First on yung receive, kargado yung service nila, hindi nyo pa pwedeng ganyan-ganyan nilang. First on yung ball, outside shot,
Outside shot, inside. Yun yung sinasabi sa'yo paulit-ulit eh. Go, 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 go. May dalawa pa tayo. Dagdag pa.
Oy, Ivo, magbasa ka naman ng
7 is Andre! 7 is! Go, Ivo.
Timeout call there by VNS and they know what's at stake. They built a big lead, Ivy, pero ngayon nga, they're saying hindi pwedeng masayang yung binuo nilang kalamangan kanina.
That's right. And Coach Ralph was very specific also about how many over balls they have already given to the Navigators. And obviously, Iloilo has been taking advantage of that.
This time a better receive and it leads to that attack, but saved by Iloilo. Let's see what VNS comes up with. Mangulabnan chooses Pedrosa and he breaks the block. And they finally break that run of the Navigators as we reach the second technical timeout. Back here inside the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center, it's the first match of our Sunday doubleheader. VNS going up against the Navigators Iloilo. They have a 3-point lead. Iloilo looking to cut that down, but access denied by Fronda and Buslig.
Good net defense on the side of VNS, and that's definitely making it more difficult for the Navigators. So they have not made any adjustment so far with in terms of their attacks.
Apat ulit ang Kalamangan. De Pedro this time scores off the block. Mangulabnan. Ooh, what an attack. Perfectly set up to Fronda.
That's right, and no blockers going up against him at that sequence. That was just too fast for the blockers.
Right. At Mangulabnan takes a breather as Mark Deximo checks in for the first time. Will be the man tasked to do the serving duties for VNS. But still cold from the bench as he sends that wide. Sasagot naman dito itong si Coach John Panis as they send in Renz Engay replacing Cordez. At nagpalitan lang ng errors. So both of the bunots, no, hindi naging effective for these two teams. But they remain on the floor nonetheless. Looks like both coaches are looking for something from these players. Buslig will serve. Oh, that is 3 straight errors for both teams.
That's already the 3rd service error in the side of VNS.
And Pemi Bagalay checks in for the first time for VNS. Nabanggit natin, player of the game in their win against Vanguard. Medalla off the block. Pemi with a poor reception. And it leads to a point by Disquitado. Cordez will serve with the help of the net. It's kept alive. They swing it to Medalla. Ron will score. Finds the line there.
Good eye there from Medalla, finding that open spot at the back court.
And VNS reaches the 20-point mark here in set number 1. Fronda with a serve. They put it up.
Oh, but there's a net violation error on the side of VNS. Yes, that's actually...
No complaints there on the part of VNS. Alam naman natin may challenges dito sa Spikers turf, but no team has used their challenge yet. De Pedro, saved by Bagalay. Medalla again. Ooh, that's short.
So just a 1-point lead now for VNS.
Here comes the Navigators Iloilo. Apolinario with a good serve. Deximo to Medalla. Naibalik pa yun sa side ng VNS. Good take from Adao. This is a free ball given up. Cruz. Deximo. Back set. The attack. Again returned to sender. Medalla. It's kept alive. Disquitado is rejected, but what a save by Apolinario. What a rally for these two teams. Who will get the point? Medalya ulit. Yes!
Medalya squeezing that in just the middle of the two blockers. Napakaliit na the space na hanapan pa niya, nagawan pa niya ng paraan.
That was quality volleyball.
Oh yes, definitely. A lot of good defense and offense from both of these teams. Guaza did not raise his hand, so a lot of space para kay Medalya.
What about the reflexes though of Apolinario?
Oh yes, that was one of the best saves so far.
Mangulabnan was able to get a breather. He's back to serve. Disquitado. That just goes out for Jade Disquitado.
Too much angle on that hit. I think they're trying to call in for a net touch.
Mangulabnan will serve. A float one. Apolinario sets up De Pedro, and De Pedro scores.
Good combination play from the Navigators.
Palitan ulit ng tao as Cortez checks in. Serving 22 here in set number 1. Mangulabnan. Rinyon had to adjust. Popped up by Bagalay. Pedrosa. Apolinario opens up. And Cortez will score just as he returned from the bench.
Good hit off the block.
Hindi nga ganun kataas no? He was a bit low in the net. But still was able to find the right angle. Talking about their captain, Jerome Cortez. Mangulabnan back sets to Medalya. And off the block, he scores.
You know, the Navigators are becoming a bit loose in terms of their blocking.
VNS is just 2 points away from taking the opening set against the undefeated, the Navigators, Iloilo. Apolinario.
Oh, that was a good hit. Ibabaw.
That was De Pedro with the point. 22 serving 23. Guaza with the serve. Mangulabnan upset Bagalay for his first attempt. Saved by Iloilo. Cruz. First ball. Here comes Pedrosa. The push does not work. They go back to him. It's wide. It's out. And we are tied at 23 all.
This is exciting, and we've never expected anything less, of course, from both of these teams.
That's right.
Good catch-up here from the Navigators.
We know that the Navigators will not go down easily because they haven't given up a set in 2 games. Parehong panalo nila in straight sets in the Open Conference. Bagalay, though, has other things in mind.
Good hit.
It's going to be a timeout called by the Navigators as they talk things over. Femi feeling it
Okay, one good receive muna
as
tayo.
we listen in.
Kailangan natin makapatay, one good receive. Okay? Ha? Kailangan makadikit tayo dito para makahabol tayo. Okay, ha? Bawi ka agad. Sige. Atake tayo mga vice.
Easy ball yan.
Sa sunod. Hindi pa naman saan ka na. Hindi pa. Palapok mo naman eh. Okay? Ha?
Go for just tayo.
Go for just tayo.
Go, 1%.
Let's go. 1%.
Hey, Navi! Go!
Diba?
Basic reminders for Coach John Panes and Ivy. That's what they need. A good receive so that they can set up that perfect play to tie this one up.
That's right. Perfect execution of everything, actually, for both of these teams at this point.
Rinyon will serve. That's a good first ball for Espanso. De Pedro will attack. It's saved by Medalya, but it's going to be a free ball. Let's see what the Navigators come up with. De Pedro ulit. Pedrosa was there. And Bagalay will finish. As set number 1 belongs to the VNS Griffins. And they give the Navigators their first set loss. Unang beses to give up a set here in the Open Conference. Talking about the Navigators. And it's Pemi Bagalay with the finishing touch. 25-23 in set number 1. We'll be back with set number 2 here on One Sports. Back here on One Sports, set 1 went to the way of the VNS Griffins in a close one against the Navigators Iloilo 25-23. Let's take a look at the highlights of what happened there, Ivy. And it was anyone's set actually, you know, towards the end, but VNS going to their vet to Pemi Bagalay, and really good overall play for the VNS Griffins.
And actually, you know, it was a very tight start.
Yeah.
And then VNS managed to pull away at some point, and that's of course through the errors that has been committed by the Navigators. And a lot of good exchanges we've seen, especially at the latter part of the set. You know, they've been very creative with their attacks, very aggressive at the service line. And I think, you know, that the service has also helped, you know, these teams in terms of advancing with their points. But yeah, the insertion of Pemi inside the court was also very, worked as the advantage of VNS. So as we can see here, the numbers for set number 1, the Navigators have 2 more attack points as opposed to VNS, but VNS fared better at the defense at the net with 2 block points. They also fared better at the service line, getting 2 service aces. So the opponent errors are just pretty much an equal ground right now. So it's just when these errors were committed. So, you know, those could always be the crucial parts of the match. Or even if your team only had 1 error, but you committed that towards the most crucial point, then that could still cost you the set.
Right, and that ultimately gave away the set to the VNS Griffins. But the Navigators had a good comeback. They tried to attempt that one, but unfortunately they dropped their first set here in the Spikers Turf Open Conference. As we welcome you to set number 2 here inside the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center. Dip Dipianco alongside Ivy Remulia calling this match. And Doreen Suway Baguio is our courtside reporter at the sidelines. Action begins, resumes. Disquitado, second try for the Navigators, wala pa rin. Bagalay had to adjust. Disquitado goes up and down it goes.
What a swing from Disquitado, who now has 4 points here in this match. Let's take a look at that last attack.
First point goes to the Navigators, just as how we started set number 1. That way, 2-0 tayo. That's a big block para kay Guaza.
So far, top scorers for the Navigators, we have Guaza with 5 points, De Pedro with 6, Disquitado with 4, and Cortez with 2.
Pero babawi dito ang VNS with their first point of set number 2.
That's Medalla with his 7th point. He's now the top scorer for the side of VNS, followed by Pedrosa with 4 and Buslig and Fronda with 3 each.
Medalla had 18 points heading into this game, averaging 9 per match, but he sends that short to the net. And it translates into another point for the Navigators. 3 serving 1. Jade Disquitado, a new member of our men's national team pool, as mentioned a while ago by Doreen. So ecstatic, so excited to play for the country. And De Pedro will get a touch there as the Navigators score another point. Jade Disquitado serving 4-1. Mangulabnan sets up Pedrosa and he scores down the line. Riñon will serve for VNS. Apolinario had to chase. Cortez is blocked. Disquitado with the adjustment. Ball is up. Oh, and Cortez gets a touch. Medyo nag-alangan doon yung VNS.
That's right. A lot of, the first balls or balls given out talagang going near the net.
As Guaza will serve. Has been serving well actually for the Navigators.
But that was also a good pass on the side of VNS and resulted in a good play. It's Mangulabnan with that quick set.
Pedrosa back at the line, 3-5. Apolinario.
Oh, excellent quick attack.
Rash Nursidik with that powerful hit. Look at that, the wind up, the flick of the wrist. Mangulabnan opens up, Bagalay. Nakuha ni Nursidik. Here comes Cortez. Medalla sends it to Pemi. Bagalay with the attack. Adao pops it up. Cortez ulit.
Off
This
the
time
block.
it drops. So this time it's the Navigators' turn to hold on to a 4-point lead. Gusto makauna dito sa VNS in set number 2. But Bagalay will keep on attacking and scoring for VNS. Former Mapua Cardinal Pemi Bagalay. Disquitado sends that long.
3-point here for VNS.
Bagalay has 3 points in this match. Good serve leads to a free ball. Mangulabnan back sets it. Ooh. A miss hit.
That was a home run there from Fronda.
And we reached the first technical timeout. Navigators up by 3 points.
Dip and Ivy, I can't imagine playing with jet lag, but that is exactly what Pemi Bagala is doing at this very moment, as this is only his second game with VNS upon his arrival from the US. At nakwento nga nitong si Pemi na ito rin ang first time back niya to indoor volleyball after focusing to beach volleyball for 5 years. And he said that the mastery, the volleyball IQ that he got from playing beach volleyball is something that has been helping him in his return indoors. Nakwento niya rin na huge effect of Pemi's arrival, besides the firepower, of course, that he brings, is his support for Ron Medalla. Dahil ito si Pemi, he also got injured about the same time as Ron Medalla last year, and his arrival has been helping Ron in his adjustment and in building his confidence back on the floor. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Thank you, Doreen, for that report. Well, let's break it down, no, Ivy. A lot of parts in that report that we can talk about. But first, sana no, for all the points that Pemi scores, I hope that he gets that much sleep as well. Dahil
Right,
nga,
oo.
grabe yung jet lag. Hindi biro yan when you come from
that's
the
true.
US. That's an adjustment
That's
to make.
true. I mean, yung normal na puyat nga lang is already a big thing eh.
Yeah.
Ito pa yung nagbago yung body clock mo, right? So, and it's not just the sleep that needs to adjust, but you know, your body condition as well.
Right, but with the experience that he has, as mentioned by Doreen, playing indoor beach, he's played in different situations, different environments.
Right.
So I'm sure sanayan din yan for Pemi Bagala. But also, it's good that, you know, Ron Medalla coming off an injury, meron silang kumbaga common thing that they're going through at nagtutulungan sila how they can actually progress
Right.
with the recovery.
And you know, in any team, more than what we see, you know, in the physical part that we see, there's a lot of that non-visible emotional aspect that
Yes,
is involved
that's right.
also. So the support that each of these players get from one another, that's already really a very big factor in terms of how well they will perform inside the court.
That's right. That's a lot of time spent outside the court. As Rinion scores for VNS. They're still down by 3 points though, but still early in set number 2. Jan Mangulabnan will serve for VNS. Apolinario had to chase. Disquitado is blocked.
Oh, but ball still alive. Good coverage on the side of the Navigators.
Here comes Pedrosa. Espanso with a pickup. Disquitado ulit. What a save from Espanso. Cruz, Mangulabnan goes to Medalla. And finally a point for VNS.
I think it's safe to say that VNS was able to read Disquitado already. He's having a hard time putting his attack through.
And just like that, the lead is cut to 2. Good serves. Pinapakawalan ni Mangulabnan. That is still good. Ooh. Medyo nagkailangan doon si Owa Cruz and Jan Mangulabnan. Wasted effort for VNS. Pagalay from the back row. Adao sends it to Disquitado. Medalla. Gustong bumawi. Good intention
Yeah,
for Ron
that's right.
Medalla, but unfortunately, lumagpas lang ng onte.
Well, you did see that hole there in the defense of the Navigators.
That was a tough cut shot, but lumagpas lang ng onte for Medalla, and it's back to a 4-point lead for the Navigators. Medalla will try once again.
That did not go over.
I think they will try to challenge this one. Talking about VNS. Or not. But there was no touch. De Pedro and Guaza were insisting. Mangulabnan sends it to Pedrosa. And blockers were there.
Finally, a good block there from the Navigators.
Tayo exhibition eh. Diba? Papaluin nyo, ito yung blocker, papaluin nyo sa maliliit na mga space eh. Doon tayo sa ano, yung mas sure tayong makakapuntos na madali. Pinapahirapan nyo yung sarili nyo eh. Kaya pa natin humabal, 6 points lang yan. Kailangan nyo lang maka-play ng first attack.
Natin tsagain.
Tsaga lang, tsaga lang. Malayo pa yan.
Natin, nag-fire tayo nagugulat. Itaas nyo, sabi up, 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 up.
Relax nyo lang. Sobrang eager kayo, hindi na kayo nag-uusap. I-over na nagkakamali pa tayo. Go tayo, go tayo.
Ay, go, go! Sige.
Take a look at that last sequence that happened. The block by the Navigators, and which led to that timeout by VNS. You heard the words from Coach Ralph. No, definitely not pleased with what they're
Right.
showing in
That's
set
right.
number 2.
So he's really looking more from, expecting more, you know, from his team. As you know that they can deliver more than what he's seeing right now.
For him, it seems like they're just playing a scrimmage right now. Talking about VNS. This is the biggest lead so far for any team in this game. Animang abante dito ng the Navigators Iloilo. Or just waiting to resume this matchup as there's a wet spot on the side of the Navigators Iloilo. Even though it's outside, syempre, tumatakbo sila
That's
dyan
right.
when they see
Syempre,
the balls.
pwede kang humabol sa labas ng court.
But the Navigators looking good here in set number 2 in hopes of equalizing this match. Of course, they're trying to protect their undefeated record. Dahil sa taas ng team standings, nandiyan ang Signal HD Spikers at 2-0. If they go on to win this one, they will have that solo top spot.
Right.
Just because they also played more games, right? Pero to be there says a lot for the Navigators after winning against Air Force and then beating NU Archipelago Builders as well. Which, by the way, we'll see action later on in our second match. Sila yung maghaharap. Coach Ralph Ocampo, assistant coach John De Guzman. Of VNS. Top setter Mike Apolinario will set to serve for the Navigators Iloilo. Oh, there's gonna be a yellow card shown here.
That's for delaying the game, I think.
Navigators.
Play resumes. 14-8 is our score here in set number 2. Medalya. That is a point for VNS.
Almost a good save there.
Nine serving 14. Medyo malaki pang hinahabol dito ng VNS. But a good serve. At the best attack there though for VNS. Cruz. Bump set. Dug up by De Pedro. This time he will attack. Mangulabnan sends it to Bagalay.
Oh, excellent setting there from the Navigator, but good defense
Right.
on the side of VNS.
Let's see if they go back to Guaza. Second time around and it works.
Excellent playmaking here on the side of the Navigators. So it all started with a good first ball, of course, on the side of the Navigators.
Balik sa anim ang kalamangan ng The Navigators. Disquitado serves. One hand set to Bagalay. Nagharap sila doon ni De Pedro. Here comes Pedrosa. Cordes switches sides and De Pedro gets a point.
Not the strongest of hits, but just the right placement for De Pedro.
16-9, a 7-point lead rather for the Navigators' second technical timeout. Back here inside the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center, you're still watching the Spikers Turf 2023 Open Conference. This is our first match of our Sunday doubleheader. The 2-0 Navigators Iloilo against the 1-1 VNS Griffins. The Navigators looking good as they try to tie this one up at 1 set apiece. Pedrosa. And that's how you attack from a break. Could set themselves up for a comeback. Talking about VNS. Ivo Riñon will serve. Apolinario goes back row to Disquitado. Medalla had a touch. Second try for the Navigators. And Guaza again. You were mentioning it off air, Ivy. The combination of Apolinario and Guaza has been deadly.
That's right. You know, they've really been executing perfect play so far here in this match. And I would say, you know, the success rate of Guaza, part of it really has to do with the setting skills that Apolinario has. Parang ano eh, no, kung ano yung talagang gustong-gustong bola ni Guaza, yun ang nabibigay talaga ni Apolinario.
Kabisado na niya eh, no? Bagalay. I think that was short. And the lead continues to balloon, now at 8 points for the Navigators Iloilo. What is it that VNS is lacking here in set number 2, Ivy, that seems to be the reason why they're behind by this much?
Well, for one, you know, they are not able to convert much of their attacks into points. You can see, so the Iloilo has been doing very well in their defense. And so far, VNS is not able to find a solution to that. You know, they're able to put in a point here and there in their attack, but and so far, if you could see, mas consistent na nakakapunto sa atake ang the Navigators.
Yeah. But this time around, VNS getting an attack point off the block. Air one, as you mentioned in set number 2, medyo hindi sila nakaka-execute. But that's right, no? You credit that to the strong play of the Navigators, which doesn't allow VNS to set up their play.
We haven't seen much blocking on the side of VNS as well, you know, as compared to set number 1.
But in that sequence, they were able to have 2 check balls, and then that attack.
Oh, the violation is called up on the side of VNS. I think it is a net violation error.
But they thought they had that point. There was a net violation on the part of the Griffins. Deximo. Oh, perfect set.
Good play there from VNS.
Bagalay serving 12-19. Medyo malaki pang hinahabol dito. But an ace by Bagalay cuts the lead down to 6. That was a big hole on the side of the Navigators.
Good floater from Bagalay.
Looking to double this one up. Ooh, this time it's out. And Iloilo reaches the 20-point mark.
A lot of points to catch up here for VNS, but this is still not impossible. You know, they can still manage this.
Medalla. Ooh. We've seen Apolinario go to Guaza a lot of times, but also Nursidic. Also, maganda rin yung chemistry nito dalawang to. VNS calls for time as they're down by 8.
Try natin dumikit.
Let's
Tapos
listen
pag
in.
dumikit, try natin
Unti-untiin natin.
unti-unti lang. Ha? Trabaho lang. Sige lang. Go, kaya yan, kaya yan. Ha? Let's start lang. Go tayo, go, go.
Kuya. Mama mo? Let's go!
Go, go. Bola.
VNS calling for time. Their last one of this set as they try to mount a comeback. But still, as you mentioned, still not out. 8 points, medyo malaki, but not impossible if VNS will try to get set number 2. And they start off with an attack from Motol.
Not the cleanest of hits, but you know that bounced off the blocker. And that's a point here for VNS.
Umiikot na rin yung rotation nitong si Coach Ralph Ocampo, looking for players to step up. That attack is out.
Free point here for VNS. And you can really see, on the side of the Navigators, they're trying to activate their middles as much as possible.
That's back-to-back points for VNS. Apolinario. Oh, Disquitado gives up a free ball instead. Espanzo was there for the pickup. Again, no connection between Apolinario and Nursidic. This time, Disquitado will attack.
Excellent hit from Disquitado.
Unfortunate for VNS because that was a couple of miscues already. Hindi na nating advantage.
That's right. I think that's what's lacking now with the VNS here in this set, no? Their ability to convert.
Yeah.
So it's quite far from how they performed in set number 1.
Deximo sent back. It's kept alive by the Navigators. Here comes Disquitado. And ball is still up. It's a long rally we're having here. Apolinario, look at Guaza. A good effort for Cruz, but you knew where he was going to bring that ball.
That's right. It was one of the longer rallies we have.
Buslig will check back in, replacing Ron Medalla. At this point, VNS can't afford to exchange points against the Navigators. 2 points away from winning set number 2. Itong Iloilo. Deximo back sets. And Motol again scores. That's
Big
2 points
hit.
off the bench.
That's right. Big hit there for Motol. So he just made sure he scores a point before he sits back at the bench.
Makadalawa at least,
Oh.
no?
Yeah, but he's done well, you know, while inside the court.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, he's really he answered to the assignment that was given to him by Coach Ralph.
But this time, Coach Ralph will turn to his starters. Mangulabnan and Pedrosa back in. Apolinario, combination play.
No, but the net violation error on the side of VNS, and these are the kinds of errors you should not be committing, you know, at this point of the match.
And the Navigators, Iloilo now at set point. 8 set points for them to work with. Pedrosa was checked. And the finishing touch from Nas Guaza. Look at this one. The setup job from Michael Apolinario. And then Guaza does the rest as we are tied at 1 set apiece. The Navigators taking this one 25-16. Babalik tayo for set number 3 here on One Sports. back inside the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center. We just finished set number 2 with a relatively comfortable win by the Navigators over VNS there. A 9-point cushion that they've built. Ivy, let's take a look at the highlights. We've talked about what VNS was lacking in that set, but what about the Navigators? What did they do right this time around that got them set number 2?
Well, for one, you know, they've been playing very fluidly since set number 1. But I think set number 2, they really knew how to take advantage of the situation, seeing that VNS was falling behind. So they never really gave VNS a chance to get back into the race. So the Navigators have been very effective when it comes to their attacks. If you can see how consistent they are, you know, the success rate of each attacker, it's been
right.
It's been on point here in set number 2. So nahirapang humanap ng solusyon ang VNS, you know, how to counter those attacks. So only, you see here, you can see it's only 1 attack point ahead. See the Navigators against VNS, but against, you know, the sequence or how these attacks came into play during the set number 2, that actually made the difference. So the blocking of the Navigators was also on point here in set number 2, and that's one of the reasons then also why VNS had a little challenge, you know, trying to get back into the game. They weren't able to get their momentum or their groove. So wala tayong nakita masyadong malinis na atake sa side ng VNS as compared to set number 1.
And what really hurt them also, based on the numbers, a lot of errors on the part of VNS,
right.
9 in total.
And I think it's safe to say also that VNS has not found a solution yet dun sa middle attackers ng the Navigators. So, ang bukod dun sa puntos kasi yung momentum you know, the shift of momentum, malaki kasing factor din yun
But this time though, Navigators can't convert yet. They went to Guaza on the first try, second wala pa rin. Third try, still nothing. As set 3 is underway, Disquitado. Oh, that's gonna be a point for VNS.
The violation to be called up against the Navigators. Good defense on the side of VNS. Talagang chinatsaga nila na walang babagsak na bola.
Yeah. We welcome you to set number 3 here on One Sports. Dip Dipiaco, Ivy Remulla calling this match with Dorinzo Ibagio on the sidelines. This time it's VNS's first time to score 2 straight to begin the set. And that's because of the errors of the Navigators. Oh, they'll take it though. De Pedro on the left side. It's wide. And 3 quick points for VNS.
And that's all courtesy of errors of the side of the Navigators.
And how quickly it has switched to the side of VNS for this set. Dalawa lang yung error ng Iloilo sa set number 2, and now all 3 points coming from their errors. Finally, the Navigators get 1 point.
So that's a point again for Guaza, who's now in double digits. 10 points for him in this match, followed by De Pedro with 9, Disquitado with 7, Cordes and Norcidic with 4 each.
Disquitado with 7 points in this game. That service is short. So 3 out of the 4 points coming from errors. Or actually 4 pala.
4
errors
right,
na.
That's right. Medalla, top scorer here for VNS with 10 points. So point is awarded to VNS.
Let's take a look at that one. What happened in that instance? So it was Guaza getting a touch on the net, on the tape of the net. Can't complain on that one as we saw it in the replay.
Hirap din pag sobrang taas mong tumalon
Tsaka yung adrenaline na
the adrenaline rush is there.
5 serving 1, Ron Medalla on deck to serve. It's an ace for Ron Medalla.
Good run here for VNS. What a way to start the set.
Nabuhayan itong Griffins after a slow start in set number 2. This time, they've turned things around.
Paganahin natin ha, sarili natin. Okay, trabaho tayo, okay? Masyadong relax, okay? Bawi sa gagawin natin. So, one good receive, sino sa harapan? Okay, 3 spikers pa na natin sa harapan eh. Bawi tayo aggressive tayo sa receive muna. Sa receive tayo maging aggressive. Okay? Go.
Hey, Nabi! Go!
Early timeout called by the Navigators as they are behind by 5 points against the VNS Griffins. And their captain, Ron Medalla, continues to serve. Had that ace a while ago. Looking to add more. This is gonna be a chance ball. Mangulabnan sends it to Rignon and he delivers.
Gotta love the energy we're seeing on the side of VNS.
One of the few times that they've actually connected sa middle.
Right.
Six points ang abante, but it ends on that service error of Medalla. Only the second point of the Navigators in this set. Guaza with the serve. De Pedro goes up. Pedrosa. Bagalay's turn to attack. Go, denied by De Pedro. And Pemi hears it from him.
That makes it to the line and he's just laughing it off.
They've had a couple of battles in the beach volleyball scene. Gusto bumawi ni Pemi, you see it in his face. Cortez. And it turns into a point for VNS after that attack error. And we reach the first technical timeout, 8-3 in favor of VNS.
Despite being younger than his attackers, Jan Mangulabnan has been embracing his role as a setter because of 2 things. Una, madali daw makipag-communicate sa teammates niya, both attackers and receivers. At pangalawa, he has been receiving a lot of guidance from his older brother, Vince Mangulabnan. And nakwento nga niya na ang greatest advice na nakuha niya dito kay Vince ay maglaro ng kanya. Not the Vince way, not his older sister Maggie's way, but his own. And actually, Maggie Mangulabnan, as well as the rest of his family, except Vince, is here with us right now in the Paco Arena, watching and supporting Jan live for the first time this conference. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Doreen, for that report. You just saw the family nga of Jan Mangulabnan, who will actually see Maggie will see action also in a few weeks time for the UAAP, for UST. But going back to that report, Ivy, Jan is only 20 years of age, and for him to be able to start as the setter, tapos yung mga attackers niya mas veterano, how do you deal with that type of quote-unquote pressure because mas bata ka eh, di ba?
That's right.
Attackers mo lahat, veterano, mas matanda sa'yo.
Well, I think first and foremost, if you're younger, what you really need to look at is that there's a trust placed in you, and there's a reason why the coaches made you the starting setter. So I guess you really just have to believe in your talent and not think about everybody else is older you inside the court. And plus, I think what's good about the system they have in VNS naman is that he gets the support of the seniors.
Yeah.
So, hindi mo masyadong mararamdaman na talagang bagets na bagets ka.
At saka kung kuya mo nga si Vitus Mangulapnan,
Correct.
then
Diba?
you're in good hands.
Of course.
Maliban na lang kung magtapat na sila, di ba?
Oo.
For sure. Wala ring awa si kuya. As
Baka
Bagana is
ngayon yung mas may
rejected.
pressure, no? Pag
Oo.
silang dalawa yung nagtapat eh.
This was the point. Courtesy of that block from Rash Nursidik. 3 points na lang hinahabol ng Iloilo. De Pedro from the back. Jan sends it to Magalay. Temi saves it. He goes up once again and he scores off the block.
Resilience pays off.
The powerful hit. This time won't be denied by the Navigators. And this time it's VNS showing their blocking skills.
Good defense at the net for VNS.
Five-point lead for the Griffins. 11 serving 6. Apolinario. Popped up by Cruz. Back row attack. Saved by Espanso. Disquitado goes up and he scores a point.
That one's off the block.
See this one again. Disquitado has been quiet here in set number 3. Ooh. Good play by VNS as they turn to Fronda for that quick attack.
Again, very few times we've seen the quick attackers of VNS.
Oh, but Fronda, nabawi lang yung na-score niya with that error. Michael Apolinario heads back to the service line. Only 21 years of age, but leading all the setters here in the tournament. Jan sends it to Medalla.
Oh, there's a touch called in by the referee.
That's a couple of touches already for Guaza na hindi niya napamamalayan, no? But he's too close to the net. And those are the things that they will look back if they continue to trail in set number 3. Disquitado, dug up by Mangulapnan. Apolinario goes middle. And Cruz will save that one. Espanso pumps it up to Disquitado. Still nothing. Medalla. The save by Apolinario. De Pedro's turn. No. Saved by Medalla. And it's ongoing still. Ball is live. And it's that attack from Naz Guaza that ends the rally.
Again, not the strongest hits for Guaza, but he knew where to place the ball. Balikan ng malalakas na palo, hinaan nga natin. But, good rally we've seen here. That sequence is one of the best sequences we've seen also here in this match.
Yeah.
Ito yung sinasabi natin kung bakit number 1 and number 2 best diggers tong dalawang team na to.
They're showing exactly why. Ooh, De Pedro goes down the line.
Really got to love the elevation of De Pedro, and his reach with the ball is talagang sa ibabaw niya lagi kinukuha eh.
Yeah. Got good length. And making good use of it as well. Still a 3-point lead for VNS. Jade Disquitado with the serve. Mangulabnan opens up to Pedrosa. And talk about elevation. Cortez also shows what he's got. A rocket of a spike that leads to this timeout by Coach Ralph Ocampo.
Maglabanan tayo ng opener. Yung opener nila masyado ibabaw kaysa sa atin. So kailangan natin makarun ng play. Okay? Run lang tayo ng play para matapos sa goal.
Good isip tayo isa. Maganda naman isip natin ang problema yung attacker.
May lamang tayo.
Go. Sige.
DNS on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes! Ako tayo.
Timeout called by VNS. They're sensing this mini comeback by the Navigators Iloilo.
Right, and Coach Ralph is asking for a play. And, you know, the advantage of having that really is just to break the blockers, you know, para wala sa pwesto yung kanilang mga blockers. You've seen also how aggressive the Navigators are at the front of the net.
Mangulabnan sets up Medalla. Medalla has been going for those types of attacks, no? Parang sinasakto niya sa linya but ending up outside for Ron Medalla. Hasn't really calculated it well. We see a new player coming in for VNS. That's Sally, wearing number 11. A tall player for the Griffins. Unang bigay, unang puntos para sa kanya.
And I think that's the boost of confidence that he needs. His players at the bench really cheering for him.
And he is ecstatic after that point. You know what? He's 17 years of age, standing at 6'4".
That so yung sinasabi ni Coach Ralph, really lot of young guns dun sa kanyang lineup eh.
So paangat pa lang, may growth spurt pa yan.
Oh.
Yung 6'4" na yan, hindi pa yan final. Babawi sa kabila. Itong si Cortez. Lead is cut down to a point. The service is short by Guaza, and he knows how big that error is because they could have tied the game up after trailing majority of this. And Albucari Sally hears it from his teammates. And sometimes that's what you need, no? Just send in the player, do something quickly. At least mahawa yung mga nasa loob ng court.
That's right. And you know, he performed well when he came in. So that was parang he brought in the positive energy.
And there's gonna be a point here for the Navigators, but VNS was contesting something.
Oh, the point still goes to the Navigators.
De Pedro will serve. Mangulabnan, the setup job to Fronda. And they've also liked this middle combination as of late for VNS. Fronda delivers the goods and sends us to the second technical timeout. back inside the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center as we have reached a second technical timeout. VNS ahead by 2 points over the Navigators Iloilo. Trying to bounce back from that set 2 loss. Na medyo wide yung gap, no? Hindi sila nakalaban din masyado in set number 2. But set 3, once again, they've turned things around, talking about the Griffins.
Yeah, they had a very strong start here. You know, they really capitalized on the fact that the Navigators have been committing errors. Good coverage.
Cruz to Bagalay. It's still alive. Ball is up, but this time down it goes for Cortez. Deximo looks at the middle. Oh, not quite. That connection yet with Fronda. Oh, we saw the intention though dahil nakita niya gumagana yun kanina for Mangulabnan and Fronda. But right now we are tied at 16 all. The Navigators with a chance to get the lead. Bagalay. Motol. Ooh, that's outside.
Oh, don't look now, but we are tied 16 all. So 17 rather. Navigators are already ahead by 1. And they have been trailing as much as 5 points at the start of this set.
This is the first time they took the lead in set number 3. Deximo looks at his options. Finds Bagalay, who is blocked. And Coach Ralph Ocampo will send in the starters. Mangulabnan and Pedrosa. Just like that, VNS is trailing by 2 points all of a sudden. Cordes with a serve. It's finally getting one to drop was Fronda. So they end the run of the Navigators at 5 straight points. Here's Cortez. Popped up by Cruz. Bagalay chases. It's a free ball. Who will they go to? They go middle. Inabangan. Nursidik ulit. Still there. The blockers were present. They switch now to Disquitado.
Disquitado calling for a touch.
Will there be a touch? We're waiting to see that call. Let's take a look at this replay for good measure. Ooh, tough to see on that angle. Officials discussing this one in an all-important point as we are nearing the crucial part of this set.
There was a touch from the hands of the blockers.
This was the attack from Disquitado.
I think it's clearer on that angle.
Kay Mangulabnan, no? Sa pinky. Actually, change the trajectory of that ball. Pabalik sa dalawang kalamangan ng the Navigators. Good serve. The 1-2 play does not work. Disquitado is blocked. Then Fronda takes advantage.
Good defense being shown here by VNS. You know, it all starts really with that net defense. And Fronda has been very aggressive here in this set. I think siyang nagdadala, you know, dito sa set na to.
Apolinario back sets to the back row of Cortez. Cortez rather. And that's a point. The Navigators are first to the 20-point mark. Mangulabnan sends it to Medalla. And Ron Medalla scores.
Palitan tayo ng puntos dito, but you know, at this point you can really see that both of these teams realize how important it is to win this set.
Can't afford, I was gonna say can't afford errors at this point. But Mangulabnan sends that long at the service line. Back to a 2-point lead for the Navigators. Disquitado with the serve. Back set to Medalla. Sent back. Second try for VNS. Ron ulit. Tough angle. They send it to the other side and Riñon delivers. Miscalculated there by Apolinario. Look at this, back and forth we go in set number 3. Can VNS tie this one up? Medalla with 13 points, 2 aces. Good serve that leads to the attack of Femi Bagalay.
What a statement from Femi Bagalay.
We are tied at 21 all. This is as close as our set number 1. Medalla, ooh, unfortunate on that error. Guaza will serve for the Navigators. Let's see what VNS does. Bagalay, naabangan ng blockers. Apolinario will send it to the left. Cortez. And he will score as Iloilo is up by 2 points. Take a look at this one. And Coach Ralph Ocampo will use his final timeout of the set.
Depensa nung sa pagpalo natin ng open Kaya kailangan natin mag-adjust doon. Kasi sa open, sila yung advantage Palaglabanan tayo ng open sa kanila yung nakaka-one stop talaga. Sige, kailangan natin maka-receive isang set, isang atake, tapos serve tayo ng maganda. Nag-serve sino nag-serve? Oh, nag-serve. Pag nakakatay tayo, kailangan makatao. Let's go, ha? Go, go, go. Go. VNS on 3. 1, 2, 3. VNS!
Timeout called by Coach Ralph Ocampo. We have some key stat line here, no, Ivy, with regards to the service that have been very important.
That's right. So we've seen quite a number of service errors here in this match. So Iloilo has 3 so far and VNS has 9.
9, grabe.
Yes, but in terms of service aces, mas marami naman si VNS. 4 service aces as opposed to none yet from the side of the Navigators.
The set by Disquitado to Cortez, and that translates into a point. Signs of frustration for VNS na di sila makapatay ng bola.
Well, the Navigators, they became more aggressive in their attacks na nahihirapang i-defend on the side of VNS.
But the Navigators are now at set point. Guaza continues to serve well, but except for that part, it's short and it keeps VNS alive in set number 3. Pero may timeout pa dito ang the Navigators as we check in with them.
Tatlo spikers mo. Okay, sino sa receive? Sino mag-receive sa likod? Sino sa likod? Dalawa. Okay, dito yung pasa. Dito yung pasa. Sige, pwede yan. Hindi yan, kontrolin lang yan, ha? Anticipate na kontrolin na yan. Anticipate tulak, ha? Para maganda receive. Anticipate na magaan. Okay, magaan. Dito yung pasa. Cycle steady, ha? Wala na. Tapos, last 1 point na lang gagawin natin, okay? So, dapat gawa na natin yung paraan to para makuha natin yung 1 point na to, okay? Okay? Go!
1 set point saved, but we heard from the timeout, particularly na wag na nila ipa-receive si Jay Disquitado because looks like they want to go to him for the finishing.
That's right. But a lot of options actually on the side of the Navigators in terms of attack.
Yeah. Ooh! Crucial error for Ivo Riñon. The Navigators did not need to do anything. Just had to stand there and wait for the ball to sail out. As we end set number 3, the Navigators Iloilo take advantage 2-1 in this matchup.
And it's the Iloilo Navigators who was able to steal set number 3. They're up 2-1. It was an exciting set 3 with VNS, who was up in the lead at the start. They were up as much as 5 points. If we take a look at the highlights for set number 3. So pretty much we thought, that VNS had this set in control. They've been leading for the most part of this set, but the Navigators managed to catch up at the middle of the set, and of course, no turning back. It did not look back. They really took advantage already of the fact that they were leading towards the end of the match.
Right. The Navigators Iloilo completing the comeback on that set after a good start for the VNS Griffins, but towards the end, Ivy, hindi na nakakonvert sa mga atake itong VNS, and yun na, kita sa stats na lumamang pa yung the Navigators in the attack department.
That's right. More attack points that we've seen here for the Navigators. 14 attack points as compared to 12 from VNS. This was really a very good defense set. Both on the floor and at the net. Both of these teams scored quite heavily in the blocking department, which is good. Kaya ganito rin kababa din yung attack points kasi nahirapan din yung both of these teams kung paano palulusutin yung kanilang palo dun sa mga blockers.
We've seen a lot of relatively long rallies in this match, and really, as you mentioned, good defensive set for both teams. Kaya nakikita natin some of them getting frustrated because they can't seem to put the ball away.
Right, that's correct.
Ang hirap makalusot.
And I think, I also want to commend both of these teams with the floor coverage. Yung mga balls that are blocked, bounce off the heads of the blockers, makikita natin buhay pa. Diba? So a lot of instances that we've seen that from both of these squads.
Both of these teams hinahabol talaga wherever the ball goes. As we welcome you to set number 4 between VNS and the Navigators Iloilo, live on One Sports. Dip Bianco alongside Ivy Remulla calling this match, and Dorin Suay Baguio for our reports on the sidelines. So after losing set number 1, the Navigators bouncing back with 2 straight sets. So finally they're ahead here. Take a look at this play. Mangolabnan setting up Bagalay. And that's their first point here in set number 4. Mangolabnan, though, playing well in this game, has 19 excellent sets. But Disquitado scores once again. Two serving one here in the fourth set. Disquitado, as we've talked about throughout the coverage, playing with a lot of confidence right now. Not that he needed more because he's had it
That's
since
right.
last conference, but you know, to be able to get called up in that national team pool means a lot to him. As you can see, he's all smiles and really throwing up that yung heart na yun kanina pa niya pinapakita. No? All love coming from Jade Disquitado.
And I think siguro, yun nga, because one of his goals has been answered, yung has been ticked off nga sabi,
Yeah.
diba? So I think that's why he's really in very high spirits.
Only 18 years of age. Talking about Disquitado. Those are the loose balls na pinag-uusapan natin. Really, everyone diving for it. Back row attack from Buslig. Does not work. Coverage again was there. De Pedro. It's up. It's sent to Magalay. Adaw was there. Cortez stretches and scores.
Good play from Cortez.
Look at the extension from Cortez in this play.
You would have thought that he would hit a hard ball.
Back-to-back points for the Navigators. Now with a 2-point lead. Bagkalay. The chase once again for Iloilo, a high free ball. They look at Medalla. And again, that's outside for Medalla.
He was probably trying to aim for a touch ball there in the hands of the blockers, pero yeah, that was just too much angle.
Disquitado. Medalla gets a touch on it. Bagalay. Oh, they've been reading the attacks of Bagalay well. Itong the Navigators Iloilo. And this time it drops for Pemi. He's gonna keep trying, talking about Pemi Bagalay.
And the thing about, Pemi is that he doesn't have as a high reach as the others.
Yeah.
But he knows where to bring the ball and kung saan niya padadaanin.
Using more of his smarts. Violation para sa Iloilo. And it's VNS's turn to get back-to-back points as they trim the lead down to 1. Fronda. Guaza again. And the efficiency continues for Apolinario and Guaza. Not the tallest middle blocker actually, to si
that's
Guaza,
right.
but just the right vertical to be able to get those attacks in. Disquitado sets up that attack. And that's outside for VNS. So Nas Guaza heads to the service line. Mangulabnan goes middle. Naabangan ni Jade. No connection there, but it ends up on the side of VNS. Cruz wants to set up Medalla, and he scores off the block.
Dahlia going into the blockers.
This is good for VNS, just holding on. Dito sa the Navigators, 2 points away. If they want to try and extend it to a 5th set. De Pedro doesn't get anything there. Bagkalay gets one to drop. Good setup by Ron Medalla. And Medalla continues to serve for VNS. His first conference back from that injury. Cortez has been silently getting those kills too, Ivy.
That's right. He's been actually effective here. And then in set number 3, he has caused a lot of damage for a VNS.
What we're seeing is a lot of Disquitado and Guaza and De Pedro, but Cortez has been steady. VNS answers right back. Pretty much within striking distance. That was Puslik. Been a while since he scored in this game. Ooh, what a running attack from Rash Nursidik.
Let's take a look at that last play once again.
What a hit from the middle blocker as we reach the first technical timeout. Babalik tayo here on One Sports.
Dip and Ivy, it's VNS head coach Ralph Ocampos' birthday tomorrow and meron siyang dalawang birthday wishes. Number 1, for VNS to get their second straight win today. And number 2, to receive more sponsorships, not only for VNS, but also for a small team in Payatas that he also coaches. Nakakabilib nga itong si Coach Ralph dahil 8 years na siyang nag-coach for free sa isang public school because of his passion of giving a chance through volleyball to kids from less privileged communities. Through more sponsorships of shoes and volleyballs, Coach Ralph hopes to help more children fulfill their potential through this sport. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Doreen, for that report. Well, first off, advance happy birthday.
That's right.
Kay Coach Ralph Ocampo.
Yes, isa sa mga pinaka-fresh nating coach dito sa Spikers Turf.
Right, and has been around also for quite a while, and as mentioned by Doreen, no, ang ganda nung ginagawa niya for the sport, for the community of Payatas, and really just goes to show the passion is there. Kaya nga yung team niya pangalan VNS, diba? Because volleyball never stops for him, and hopefully if anyone who's watching wants to also help out the sport and Coach Ralph Ocampos' cause, diba? It's always nice to see because yung mga ganyang bagay, grassroots, diba? Talagang you help out the younger people, the younger kids who want to become professional volleyball players in the future.
And you know, not only that, but we all know the difference then of what sports can teach.
Yes.
You know, our young ones. So maybe if it's not on a eventually a professional track in the future, but being involved in sports, we can develop one's personality in an individual person.
Right. Running attack from Nursidik. But really, you're right. Not everyone will end up playing it for their entire lives, but the values that it teaches, what you will carry on in your entire life, is really a lot that will help you. Pero ito pinag-usapan natin, lumamang na nga yung VNS, no? So, mukhang buenas yung birthday ni Coach Ralph.
Mukhang may paregalo VNS para kay Coach.
It's kept alive here. And that's a point for Engay.
Smart play. That smart move there from Engay.
What a tip. Just over the blockers of VNS, and they regain the lead. 10 serving 9. Mangulab na, no. The chase though by De Pedro keeps it alive. Fronda off the block. Iba rin yung palo nitong si Fronda eh. May power din coming from the middle.
And you know, I think VNS really should maximize their middles more. Because they also can bring in a lot to the plate. And Fronda has been performing very well para
That's
dito
right.
sa VNS.
That's Russ Fronda. Back throw attack mula kay Buslig. Jake Buslig only scored a point in their last game against Vanguard. But helping out his team here in set number 4. Engay again. Was not able to score itong si Renz Engay for the Navigators in their last game. But that's what happens when you're playing an extended game. Nabubunot at bubunot ka na ng players.
That's right.
But the starters are there, continuing to score for VNS. That's Fronda again. That height used to perfection. All 6'3" of Russ Fronda. Apolinario ups it to De Pedro. Bagalay sends it to the other side. De Pedro ulit. Tough angle. The quick. And it works.
The donut hole in the middle with the defense of the Navigators.
And of course, they go once again to the middle. Two-point lead for the VNS Griffins. And Guaza will score right back. Mangulabnan.
That does not cross over. We're now tied 13 all.
Oh, really? It's just set number 2 na medyo nagkalayo. Itong dalawang koponan na to. But the rest of the way, it's been close. And how easily the momentum switches for both teams. Balik ang kalamangan ngayon sa the Navigators. Back set to Medalla. Rejected by Cortez.
Almost a good save for VNS.
Two-point lead, cut down to 1 with that error. Serving 15 as Fronda will work from the back. It's the middles of VNS that have been getting a lot of errors from the service line. We reach the second technical timeout. 2-point lead for the Navigators. Babalik tayo here on One Sports. back here on One Sports. You're still catching the Spikers Turf 2023 Open Conference. We are nearing the end stage of set number 4. And the Navigators, Iloilo, looking to complete this one and keep their undefeated record alive. Meanwhile, for the VNS Griffins, they want to build on their last win, go for 2 straight. Medalla serving for VNS. And again, we've talked about Cortez.
Cortez now with 16 points, 15
Wow.
from attack and 1 from block.
Cortez only had 9 in that game against NU. He's got 16 today. Buslig straight to Adao. Apolinario sets up Cortez again. This time it's popped up. Pagalay. Checked. Cortez for another one. And why not? Because he has been hot.
Cortez has done the damage in set number 3 and he is continuing to do that here in this set.
Jerome Cortez
Mga opener nila eh. Dapat
scores
agad
as we
tayo sa
listen in to the
block.
timeout of VNS.
Puro cross sila. Di, cross, yung block nyo, yung marker nyo, kung makita nyo, alam nyo ba-block sila, blockan nyo na yung cross. Oh, nangyayari kasi, nilalakasan kasi alam nila nakatakip yung line eh, kanina pa eh. Okay, adjust lang tayo doon. 3 lang yan, kaya pa natin yan.
Hey, VNS on 3. 1, 2, 3. VNS!
3-point lead for the Navigators, Iloilo. And VNS has to score immediately. They can't let this slip away. We know how dangerous of a team the Navigators can be, as shown in their past 2 games. Buslig will score. Jake Buslig getting that one through. This is where usually Coach Ralph Ocampo sends in Teximo for Mangulabnan.
Of course, they would need the full front line, more options for their attacks.
Good serve. And Mark Teximo gets an ace. A lot of muscle on that serve. And the Navigators call for time as we listen in.
Focus na lang. Tapos, after ko makatawid man, ready ka agad ay dumipensa. Okay, sa block. Huwag mo tutudo-tudo. Hindi alam mo naman ang gagawin yan. Huwag kang timing. Pag nakita mo na yung bola, ayan, tapos na kada sa palad. Yung palad dapat ipang-block, hindi dapat dito. Kasi pag dito, talsik-talsik yan, dapat palad. Okay? Go. Tapos na tayo.
Timeout called by the Navigators Iloilo. We heard Coach John Kenneth Panis talk technical about how to position the hands in terms of blocking. Ivy.
That's right. Because nakakaila na rin kasing lusot itong VNS sa kanilang blocking. I mean, they're in position, but the ball goes through.
What about the running attack that's proving to be a specialty para kay Nursidic?
Another point there for that running hit.
So it's the starters right now for the Navigators on the floor. Teximo with the set. Buslig unable to convert. The tip. This throw and it drops for Rash Nursidic.
It was not the best of plays, but still they managed to convert that into a point. That little push of the hands of the blockers.
3 points ang abante ng the Navigators. Pedrosa. And that turns into a point. They need all that and more. Talking about VNS. all the help they can get. Reunion will be the one to serve. Had that crucial error in set number 3. This one is through. Disquitado. His attack is wide.
Too much power on that hit. Medyo kita mo yung gigil niya eh. He really wants that point.
Isa na lang ang hinahabol ng VNS. They want to go back to Jade. And this time, he gets a touch from the blockers of VNS. So mga 30 seconds lang nawala yung ngiti sa mukha ni Jade. It was back right away. At the best first ball, gagawan ng paraan. Second try, a bit too low on the set. Medalla sends it to Buslig, who scores.
That touched the hands of Disquitado.
VNS at one point has to take advantage. They can't afford to exchange points. Consecutive points is what they need. Ooh, naabot pa ni Guaza.
Again, that's the advantage of having a hang time. But a good setting job as well from Apolinario. That was one difficult set.
22 serving 20. Deximo upset. Look at the length of Guaza getting a touch once again. And a costly error for the captain, Ron Medalla. Babied that one. 3 points down. 20-23, timeout called by Coach Ralph Ocampo.
Dapat nilalaban natin yung yung puntusan eh. Kaso nga lang ina-error natin. Kaya pa yan.
Di pa matatapusan sa 23, kaya pa yan.
Go tayo, kuha tayo ha. Kuha tayo.
Isang pasa, isang patay, to side out.
Go.
Let's go, let's go! Akin yung isa. Ready, go! Bilis for 3! 1, 2, 3! Bilis! Go!
3 points ang hinahabol dito ng VNS. But obviously with how the game has gone, there's still hope for VNS. Now that the starters are back as well, Jan Mangulabnan with Fronda, Medalla, Bagalay, Buslig, and Cruz. Para naman sa The Navigators, Apolinario will serve. Mangulabnan will chase Medalla with approach. Colliding these players. And sumobra yung set na yun. That leads to a point for VNS.
Still a chance here for VNS. Collision there on the floor.
Yep.
Ito yung set na bit too much. No? Lumagpas na sa kabilang side sa VNS.
21 serving 23. Steady first ball. Here comes Disquitado. Cruz. The bump set. Medalla powers his way. Free ball given up. VNS with another chance. Jan goes to the middle to Fronda.
And again, you know, you activate your medals.
Look at this connection by Mangulabnan to Russ Fronda. Timeout called by the Navigators.
Kailangan natin ma-stop to. Okay, ma-stop para maka 1 point na lang tayo. Okay, okay? Sige, okay lang. Okay, ito yung makinig. Ito yung importante na point. Okay, dapat kunin muna natin. Para 2 points tayo pag nanalo. Kasi pag stay focus lang na.
Timeout called by the Navigators after a couple of points from VNS who are staying alive. Ooh!
Costly error there on the side of VNS. But they are still not out of this game. They're just down by 2 points. They just have to make sure that they get a side out for this one.
Right, that's what you call timeouts for. To ice the server, to talk things through. And just like that, the Navigators are at match point. Mangulabnan sends it to the left to Magalay, who keeps them alive. 23-24. They go to Pemi. And they send in Andrada for the first time.
Very crucial serve here.
The biggest serve of the match. That is outside. And the Navigators win this one 3-1 as they stay undefeated. 3 straight wins for the newcomers in the Spikers turf. And VNS drops down to 1-2. What a match we've had. And the Navigators Iloilo continue to turn heads to Wawas. And right now they're at the top of the team standings. We'll talk more about what happened in this game after this break. Just stay tuned here on One Sports.
Ay, sa mic. Tawagan sa.
Okay sa akin. Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Jerome Cortez, right?
Mabilis.
Iloilo is continuing its winning ways after that 4-set comeback win by Iloilo versus the VNS Griffins. And I'm here with the best player of the game, Jerome Cortez. Jerome, you had 17 points off of 16 attacks. What was behind that fire, that drive na nakita namin sa'yo ngayon?
Ano po? Sa ano po eh, sa tinanong na ano, sa Navi.
Mukhang kinakabahan na si Jerome. Sige, go. Jerome ka muna. Ayan, okay. What inspired you the way you played tonight?
Yung family ko po na nanonood sa ano, sa live sa TV yan.
Nakwento mo sa akin before this game that you guys have an underdog mindset. Paano, ano yung role na pinlay ng underdog mindset na yun para makuha yung panalo?
Hindi namin in-underestimate yung kalaban namin para manalo po sa laban po namin. Kasi sabi din po nung nag-awak sa amin, wag daw po kaming mag-underestimate ng kalaban, lalo na magkaka-age po kami tapos magkakakilala po kami sa labas.
Jerome, any greetings?
Binabati ko po yung lola ko, pati yung lolo ko dyan. Hello po. Ingat kayo yung mga tiga Makati. Jopay! Sere!
Well, thank you and congratulations again, Jerome, and to the Navigators Iloilo. We now turn it back to you, Dippin' Ivy.
Thank you, Doreen. And a man of few words, Jerome Cortez, pero hindi siya nagtitipid sa puntos, Ivy. Grabe yung pinakita niya for this match in this game para sa the Navigators.
That's right. You know, he really pulled through in those crucial parts of the set, and lalong-lalo na to sa yung mga end game, you know, that's where he has been very elemental. That's where he has given the most of his contribution.
As we revisit the set 4 highlights of what happened there, VNS looked good. They were sticking close dito sa the Navigators Iloilo at the middle part, but then a string of errors hurt them towards the end. Yung mga service error, attack errors, which ultimately gave it away for the Navigators Iloilo.
And we've seen also that the Navigators have been, we've seen how they're aggressive all throughout the match. Pero yung set number 4, isa rin sa nakatulong to sa kanilang panalo is the fact that they have been very aggressive at the front of the net. So ang sipag itong the Navigators. So it kind of made it difficult for VNS really, to execute their attacks. Well, while they had a good run, it was not enough, to stop the Navigators. As we can see the numbers, VNS had more attack points as against the Navigators, but yun nga, it's the blocking of the Navigators. They only had 1 block point, pero maraming dyan kasi yung contribution ng mga napipigil nilang atake ng VNS. While it was not converted to a point, but it really broke the play and helped, create hesitation in the attackers of VNS. Both teams actually did well to the service line, so very minimal errors dito sa set na to. But again, when these errors were committed, that has been what has made it crucial.
Right. Itong Navigators Iloilo, they knew exactly where to distribute the ball. Michael Apolinario showed us why he's the top setter at the moment in this tournament. Jade Discatado all smiles after that win for the Navigators, who stay undefeated 3-0 against the VNS Griffins. Up next, we still have the NU Archipelago Builders going up against the Philippine Air Force Airmen. That does it for our coverage for our first match. On behalf of Dorin Suay Baguio, my partner Ivy Remulla, my name is Dip Bianco saying thank you for watching the Spikers Turf 2023 Open Conference. More volleyball action coming up here on One Sports.